What's happening? This is the Tap In podcast. We are live inside of the Tap In studio. We got a special guest that's in the building with us today. It's gonna get controversial today. I feel like this is gonna get controversial. But first, before we get into that, the hoodies are available on the website, tapinpodcast.com. For the discount code, text 214-466-8377. 214-466-8377 to get the discount code for all the merch on the website. So my special guest today, this is a dude I've been knowing for a year now. 2?
About a year and a half.
A year and a half? Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the coolest Republican dude that I know, okay?
That's sweet of you.
Yeah, this is the coolest Republican dude I know. And I actually wanted to just bring you in and see from the last time that we talked, have your views changed? Or what do you think about what's going on now versus when we talked last time?
I think the world's going crazy, man.
It's
insane.
Yeah, it is.
You got all these riots. You got all this stuff going on. You got the virus and everything. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So have your views changed on the president?
No.
So you still are riding with him?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why? Why though?
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, what has he done that I shouldn't support him? Why? What is your view? I mean, you're throwing that out there. It's kind of a broad spectrum. I mean,
right. Because I mean, here's the thing. Here's how I look at it. Right. The president, it's a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are running a company, anybody that has the economy is to shits, right? The world is in an uproar, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anybody with that doesn't have the experience and everything that's come with that after that, with the climate of the world, you'd be like, get this motherfucker out of here. Like, you're fired.
Not necessarily.
Why?
I mean, is this virus his fault though? I mean, is that
yes.
His fault? How is it so?
So, to my understanding, Obama had a cabinet, a health cabinet. I guess it's some CDC things for like viruses and things like that. Once they come out, or once they hit the United States, they had scientists and they had medical professionals in place that can handle this virus, right?
I guess I don't know.
Okay, well, he got rid of them as soon as he took office. As soon as he took office, he got rid of that cabinet, the medical professionals, the scientists, everything. He got rid of that part of it because he was like, yes, that's just a waste of money, and we don't need that. We don't need that.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. I'm like I said, I don't know about that.
And that's why I'm saying that's his fault, because if that cabinet or those scientists and medical professionals were still there, they may have been able to have some kind of curve, or they may have seen this coming, because they are medical professionals that's all they do is focus on viruses and new vaccines for things.
Yeah, just like you have the WHO and you have the CDC, that's their job.
Right.
So just because you got rid of one part of that, I mean, I don't think that, hindsight is always 20/20. Mm-hmm. You can look back and you can say, oh man, if we just done this, it'd be different.
Okay.
Like, I'll give you an example. Like, one of the things that they did is, like, when he found out, like when China was having the outbreak, he said, okay, we're going to stop all travel coming in from China. You know what happened? The left said, oh man, he's a xenophobic, he's racist, he's cutting China's travel off. And Nancy Pelosi actually said the virus is no big deal. Said go down to Chinatown and celebrate the Chinese New Year without your mask. And then she just got caught going to a hair salon, by the way, without a mask, when all the other salons have been shut down. Mm-hmm. Tis for thee, not for me. But so the whole thing is I mean, like, you can look back and go, oh man, if I could have seen this coming, I mean, who knows? That group may not have been any better than the CDC or the WHO. As a matter of fact, they even decided to defund this, stop donating or
to the
stop
CDC?
funding. No, to the WHO, because they lied about all the stats.
But he's not even taking the advice from the CDC. He's everybody who doesn't agree with him he just condemns them, saying they don't know what they're talking about. Dr. Fauci, who I thought was the person who was supposed to be his advisor on this whole virus, he was like, no, Fauci is no, get out of here. Like, he's not even advising. He doesn't even want to listen to anybody because his ulterior motive is he wants the economy to back up. He's up for election, so he has to do something. I just seen the thing on last night. He's telling people to vote twice.
What are you talking about? He's telling people to vote twice.
He said, do a mail-in ballot, send your mail-in ballot in, and if to double check to make sure your vote got counted in the mail-in, go actually to the polls, and if it doesn't say that you voted or your vote has been counted, then you'll be able to vote again, which is 100% illegal.
I didn't see him say that. I mean, did it happen just last night?
I mean, I just seen it last night. I don't know if it happened last night.
I'd be honest with you, Donte. You're probably more up on current events than I am lately.
I got a change. I got a lot of time.
Because usually
I got a lot of time.
That's true. You should switch it off of CNN to MSNBC every once in a while, though, I'll tell you.
No, it's not even from that. It's just I get most of my news clips from the internet. Mm-hmm. Just watching on the internet.
See, that's the thing, though. Like, I'll give an example. You got to be careful with the internet because, like, I'll go to places like I read articles. Like, you go to Yahoo, okay? Mm-hmm. They're like, the domestic terrorist Kyle Rittenhouse. They were asking why this dude that shot. There's a pro-Trump rally in Portland, right? Which is the last place on earth you want to have a pro-Trump rally. Okay?
In Portland, yeah.
Because they're like the cops. They're just basically standing back and it's hands off. They're like, we're not doing shit. We're not touching it. We're not doing anything. The mayor's just said, hey, stand back, let people do what they want to do. And as a result, they show the guy, this one guy, is like 48-year-old Antifa guy, and he's standing watching the dude. And he's like, I had to protect my friend of color because I thought his life was in danger. From the video I saw, the guy, there was nobody around him. He just walked up and shot the dude, right? They went and the cops went to arrest this guy for it, right? He started firing back at him. They said he fired like as many as 50 rounds from what I read. Mm-hmm. And then I read an article on Yahoo that they didn't shoot Kyle Rittenhouse, but they killed this guy. I'm like, well, the guy was shooting at the cops. Kyle Rittenhouse actually walked up like this with his hands up to the cops, saying, "Hey, I just shot some people."
And they just rolled right past him.
Huh?
And they rolled right past him when he was walking.
But they didn't know what was going on. They're like, they're rolling in. They heard, something was going on.
Somebody was saying, "Hey, he just shot somebody. He just shot somebody." He ran up to the police like this with the AR-15 wrapped around his chest, and the police was like, "Where are they at? Where are they at?" And the police asking him, "Where are they at?" And he's pointing down the street.
Yeah, but what I'm telling you is they still, in the confusion, I don't think the cops knew that he was the dude that they were looking for. He actually called the cops. Let me ask you this, Glenn.
If that was a black guy and the police still didn't know what was going on, or they didn't know if that black guy had shot somebody, you think they would have just rolled right past him with him walking down the street with an AR-15?
I mean, they should have. I mean, I don't know if they would have or not, but they should have. But let's get into that. Like, this kid that was walking down the street, he was there. Like, he was actually he'd been trained EMT stuff, right?
Has he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was. As a matter of fact, earlier he's on camera.
I heard his mother was an EMT or something.
Well,
like
no,
that,
he had been trained.
Okay.
And he's actually on video. Like, some of the protesters were actually hurt or something. He's like, "Hey, I'm a medic. I can help you." And he stopped an interview to go help one of these guys. So he's actually standing out in front of a business, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when it's getting dangerous, because these protests and stuff are getting bad. Now you're having both sides come out shooting at each other, right? Mm-hmm. So he's outside. From what I understand, I actually did look into this one a little bit. He's actually standing there, outside of a business, a car lot that's getting looted, and eventually some of these people come after him. And these are these Antifa. These are these purple-haired college kids, as I call them, right? Mm-hmm. The mega left wing, the crazy ones. Hey, we're gonna, and to them, it's not about racial equality or justice. Mm-hmm. To them, it's completely 100% about they hate the country. They absolutely hate it because they've been taught this by their leftist professors in college. And what they do is they go out and it's anarchy. They hate capitalism. They think socialism is the way to go, and they want to destroy the country. And that's basically what they're doing. So you got these guys. He's running from these guys down the street. Okay, this kid is running down the street. He's running from these guys that are chasing him.
After he already shot somebody.
No. He hadn't shot anybody up to this point. He's running down the street. Okay. This guy's like, shoot me. I can't, used to I could say the N-word with the A on the end, but in today's climate, you can't even say that anymore. Cause it's,
when can you have said that? When was it okay?
Back in the day, you'd be hanging out with, hey, what, like you.
No.
Well, you know what I'm saying. So, you can't say that anymore. Even with the A on the end of it, you can't say it. The ER has always been bad. I got that. But he's like, shoot me. And the kid is running down the street trying to get away. So this dude is chasing him. The dude that I told you that he's a registered sex offender, right? He's running down the street chasing this kid. Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think is going to happen when he catches him? He's going to sit down and have a civil conversation? No. So you got the kid running down the street. Then you got this guy right behind him. Then you got somebody behind them shooting into the air, discharging a pistol, pow, into the air. The kid hears this. He runs around behind an SUV, and the dude coming at him, the dude that got popped in the head, throws something at him and comes running up at him. So he backs up and shoots the guy and kills him. Just shot him in the head. Then the rest of them come after him. He gets on the phone. He's calling 911 saying, hey, I just shot somebody that, the guy was chasing me.
Kyle?
Yeah, he got on the phone. I guess he was calling 911.
What video did you see? Because I didn't see all this.
I wonder why, Donte.
I didn't see it because
they don't show that on MSNBC.
The one
and
that I don't watch that. I'm telling you, I don't watch those shows.
Well,
but
I believe you.
Okay, I'm gonna let you finish because I didn't see all that.
Okay, well then he takes off running down the street, and they're like, he just shot a guy, get him! And they're all chasing him. And the Antifa, the revolutionary weapon of choice that they have, because every Antifa member is issued a skateboard to beat people with, right? And he's running down the street. He falls. The gun is jammed right at this point. He falls down. This one dude comes up and kicks him in the face, and he's sitting there like this on the ground. The other dude comes up and hits him with a skateboard and smacking him with a skateboard. He turns around, pops him in the chest, and gets him. Okay, kills this guy who's attacking him. And then the other dude that got shot, the one that had his arm blown almost off, he's like, hey, man, hey. But he's walking around to get beside him, and he's got a gun, and he's sneaking up to the side of him. Well, the kid sees him, turns around, and pops him and almost blows his arm off, blows most of his bicep off. And the dude's like, his arm's all splayed out. And he's still got the gun in his hand. And this dude's a felon carrying this gun around. So, was it a good idea for a 17-year-old kid to come out there with his AR and help patrol and keep people? Probably not. My daughter, she ain't ever going to do that because she's going to be locked at home. I'm telling you, when stuff like that goes crazy. But that's what I'm saying. But the media's bias is 100%. Like, why did you shoot this guy? Because when they came to arrest him, he started shooting at the cops. And then they shot back and killed him. And people are pissed off about that. I'm like, come on. And now you said another thing. You were talking about how if that was a black guy, would that have happened? Would they just have gone by him? I see black people in these protests and stuff all the time carrying a gun, and I don't have a problem with that. Saw a meme on Facebook the other day, right? It says, if you're okay with this, and it has like a white dude and his two sons, his kids there, and they've got their ARs and stuff, but you're offended by this, and it shows a black man and a black woman and their two kids standing in front of their door, each with a gun. If you're offended, then there's a problem. Yeah, I agree. You've heard me say every time I've been on here that every black family should own a firearm to defend themselves. Period. Whether it's from the perceived notion that the KKK is coming for you or whoever, you should be able to defend yourself.
I think the problem is that even when black people are doing nothing or they don't even pose a threat, they're getting shot by the police. And the police are the ones who, you're not supposed to be pulling a gun on the police, but the actual gun is to protect them from the police. Like, I've seen time and time and time again.
I'm hearing Ice Cube come through my head right now.
Why?
No.
My thing is, and I want to make this clear, right? It's not F all police, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is a certain bad apples.
Yeah.
And those are the ones who we're like, yo, get them the fuck out of here, because those good police, you're putting those good police in harm.
Yeah, I agree.
So
with that.
and I just feel like that is the main issue. That is the main issue, that those bad police officers are not being condemned by the president, not being condemned by the chief of police in those states or those cities. No one's even bringing charges to them for people who have no weapon at all, and they may be running from the police, but they don't pose a threat at all.
No,
and those are the ones that are getting shot at. Those are the ones I have an issue with, right?
Well, no, I understand.
Those are the ones I have an issue with, and
no, I do too. I mean, I have an issue with that as well. If they're not a threat to the police, okay, then absolutely not. But I do agree with you on that. And as far as the police go, I do agree that there should be some sort of a screening process, like a psychological evaluation. Because trust me, I've been pulled over by the cops, and I've had cops be an asshole to me too, right? But the whole thing about it is, you know, there are some bad people. There are some cops out there that are just cops because they want to be an asshole to people, because they want to push people around, and they're bullies. And I understand that, and I agree with you. There should be things in place that actually do account for that, where there's some accountability for that. So no, I agree with you there.
But there is none because of the policing unions.
Well, then yeah, I agree. Then that something does need change. But here's the other part of that, though, Donte, is some of those people like Breonna Taylor, stuff like that. Those things, yeah, those are bad things. But the way that the media pushes this is that the cops are just out looking for black people to shoot and kill. And that's generally not the case. But wait.
Okay.
But like Breonna Taylor, stuff like that, you know, they should have announced themselves, if I remember the case correctly. Then that wouldn't have happened. But if they did announce themselves, if someone was in the house, because I think that was a case where the neighbor called in, or one of them was
no,
here.
it was a no-knock warrant.
Oh yeah, and they went there, and it was her ex-boyfriend wasn't there, and
it was at the wrong address.
Right.
The warrant was for a whole different address.
Right, and they went in there, no-knock warrant, and her boyfriend at the time, you know, fired back, and she got caught in the crossfire. No, I agree. There should be accountability for that kind of stuff. But the one here in like Dallas, where she was playing video games, the neighbors called and said, "Hey, it's 2 a.m."
You talking about
Tatiana?
Tatiana Jefferson. Yeah.
See, man, Donte, you should know this stuff.
Yeah, I do. And with that one, it was even with that. If you're supposed to be going there for a, what is it called, some kind of check?
A check. The neighbors called.
Yes.
Because the door was open at like 2 a.m. The cops come up there instead of announcing themselves, which would have put themselves in harm's way because somebody could be in the house. That was just a bad situation.
But when you're doing a check, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to knock on the front door. They're not calling to say, "Hey, we think we see a robbery in progress."
No, I agree with you. No, I agree with you that they handled that one. That was not the right way to do it. No, so I agree.
So which one do you feel like the police are justified?
Well, like the whole Michael Brown shooting in Ferguson. You know, the whole hands up, don't shoot thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's the one you feel like was justified.
Yeah, I do, and I'll tell you why. Because you know how you've heard he had his hands up saying "Don't shoot," right? You know that.
No, I think they were saying. I think that "Don't shoot" slogan came after the fact, but I think
LeBron.
They were saying he had his hands up. Yeah, he had his hands up.
He didn't have his hands up. Okay, the witnesses testified. You know, some of the
what
people
witnesses
at the court at the hearing. You know, they have the grand jury comes and they listen to the testimony. What actually happened is he had just got through robbing a store. Now that doesn't mean that you get shot in the street for robbing a store, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to put this in perspective. He just robbed a store. Okay, he's walking down the street with his buddy. Darren Wilson, the officer, comes up. He's like, "Hey guys, stop walking the street. Get up on the sidewalk." You know, because they're walking like in the middle of the street. They smart off to him like, "Hey, you know, the kid comes over and he reaches in the car and tries to grab the cop's gun." Yeah, but this is what you've never heard.
I have heard this.
Okay, but here's the thing: the DNA.
Let me ask you this:
DNA was on the gun.
Let me ask you this, Glenn. So, a police comes up and says, "Hey, start walking, get out of the street, walking on the curb," and immediately your first reaction is to go over and dig in the police car and try to take his gun. Does that even sound like rational that somebody would even go from, hey, I'm walking on the street, I'm walking in the middle of the street, the police says, hey, walk over, get on the curb, and my initial reaction is to go over and try to reach for his gun?
I'm sure that there was a conversation that led up to that. But here's the point.
And that's why I don't believe it.
That's
why I just don't believe it.
And okay. Well, then but all the witnesses and stuff testified that he got out of the car, he reached into the car, tried to get the gun. The officer pulled the gun out, shot him through the hand, right? He gets up, he takes off. The cop gets out, says, stop running. The kid turns around, starts charging at the officer. Cop shoots him a couple times, didn't kill him, doesn't put him down. He ducks his head down and runs at the cop, and the cop shoots him again. That's what the witnesses said happened, okay? Mm-hmm. So stuff like that, like the one in Atlanta, the dude who was fighting the cops and got the taser and turned around and shot it at the cops, a week and a half before that.
Hold on, let's do one at a time.
Okay.
Because even if I shoot this person through the hand, right? Mm-hmm. The gun is for lethal force, right? Mm-hmm. You match lethal force for lethal force, right?
No, that's not the case.
Why not?
That's not the case. If someone is trying to go for your weapon, okay?
Yeah, but at this point, you've already got him off of you. So he's not trying to go for your weapon no more.
There's nothing.
You've already shots fired. You shot him through the hand. He runs off, right? And then you pull out your gun. Hey, stop, whatever. Right. And then he charges you. At that point, he's not a threat to you lethally.
Why is he not a threat? Did you see how big the dude was? He was gigantic.
So because he's bigger, then you can kill him.
No, what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Donte,
so
I'm not
at that
saying
point,
because he's bigger, but listen, here's the thing.
At that point, you don't need to shoot him. You don't need to kill him.
Let me put it this way: if I'm walking down the street and somebody comes running at me like they're going to attack me, guess what's about to happen?
You're going to shoot them.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Because you know why? Because you legally have a right to defend yourself. See, there's no law that says, oh, they have to have a weapon that can kill you for you to defend yourself. That's the thing, is if somebody's coming at me and they're trying to kill me, like for instance, if you got a young lady, okay, and she's walking down the street and some dude comes up, fixing to nail her. What is she supposed to do? Oh, since he didn't have like a weapon to kill me, I can just get my ass whipped?
No.
Because what happens if that dude, that big kid, 18, whatever he was, grabs this officer, body slams him, knocks him out, and then takes his gun and shoots him? Then what happens?
Okay, so
should he just wait for that to happen?
No. One, I feel like he has a taser, right?
Yeah.
He has a taser. Or what I've seen other police officers do when they're being chased by white people or people who are trying to beat them up, they run. Who
is this running again?
These are police. I've seen police officers being attacked by white guys. I seen a white guy chasing a police officer with a knife. Not once did he ever think to turn around and shoot him when the guy is running behind him with a knife. He's just running for his life around the car like a game of tag. but he never.
Chinese fire drill. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Is that not racist? Okay,
I mean,
just making sure.
But he's running around the car, running from the guy with the knife. Not once did he think, oh, let me kill this guy,
right?
Because he's chasing him with a knife.
Donte, like you can pull a one-off scenario of everything. I'm sure it happens. I'm sure black people do the same thing. I've come at the cops and the cops haven't killed them. Because I can guarantee you, every black person that fights the cops doesn't get killed. Because you know why? Because it would be on CNN 24 hours a day the next day.
Listen, I've seen, and just to be fair, right? I've seen some police shootings that I was like, oh, yeah, okay, well, that motherfucker had it coming.
Me too.
I've seen it. But it was the police officer's life was in danger. I just watched the video the other day. I don't even know if it was a black or white guy. I don't know who was in the car, but somebody charged at the police. The police blocked them off, and it was like an apartment building. Police blocked them off, right? And whoever was in this car backed up, rammed the car, backed up again, turned and charged the police, and the police shot the car up, I don't know if they killed him or not, but I was like, okay, I can see that point.
And
I can see that that person getting shot and killed, because now you're putting my life in danger.
Right. No, and I understand, and I feel the same way.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I do.
So
I agree.
So it's not. I'm not saying that some police officer shootings are not justified. I'm saying the ones that I have seen, the ones that we have all seen on camera.
Right.
Like, there is no reason for these people to be dead.
No. Well, I'll put it this way, Donte. When I see stuff like people getting shot by the cops, I don't care what color they are. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter if, like the dude in Atlanta, he turned around 2 weeks before. The DA said that, you know, a taser is a lethal weapon. That's what he called it. And then he turns around. After
the one at the by the Wendy's, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then 2 weeks
There's
later.
so many I can't even remember their names.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks later, when they shot this dude, right? They shot the guy, and he had like a long list of prior offenses, and he knew that if he got busted again, he was going to go away for a long time.
Why does that even matter, though?
Well, why do you fight the cops?
He didn't fight the cops.
Yes, he did.
No.
What have you been smoking?
No.
I mean, seriously.
Listen.
He fought the police. He body slammed one of the cops.
No. What?
Did you not see the video?
I've seen the video where the police talked to him for about 45 minutes because he was drunk.
Then when they go to arrest him,
he was drunk.
He starts fighting them.
He was drunk. He wasn't in the car. He was sleeping in his car, right? You talking about that one, right?
Yeah, he was in the drive-through.
He was in the drive-through sleeping in his car. The police got him to pull into a parking lot, a parking space, pulled him out of his car, talking to him. He said, yo, I live down the street. I can walk home. I'm good to walk home. I'll leave my car here. The police didn't want to go with that. They wanted to be like, no, what's going on? What are they kept questioning him.
Well,
because
driving under the influence, they gave him a sobriety test because driving under the influence is it's illegal, you know, right? So they gave him a sobriety test. He failed the sobriety test, and then they said, "Hey, we're going to take." Yeah, I think so. Then they put him in. They said, "Hey, we're going to, you know, you're under arrest for DWI or DUI, whatever they call it." And when they start to cuff him, he starts fighting them.
He runs.
No.
He tries to run,
dude,
and they tackle him. He gets away, and he's running away,
fighting the police, and he's
running away.
Cop's taser. He's running away, turns around and fires at the cop with the taser.
No, he did not. Glenn.
Dude.
Glenn.
Do you want to look it up on the video?
I've seen the video.
Then you must have a selective memory.
No, I've seen the video. They tried to arrest him. The guy tried to grab his arm. He yanks his arm away from the police officer, tries to run. They tackle him, right? He flips one of the cops off of them, and he starts to run.
Donte, are you messing with me?
I'm dead serious.
No, seriously. You didn't watch the
Pull up the video. Pull up the video.
Okay.
Because at that point when he was trying to get away.
What was his name? Was it Rayshard Brooks? Or no, that's it.
No, right? Rashard. It might have been Brooks. Rashard Brooks.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's the first thing you put Rayshard. It's the first thing that comes up.
Yeah.
Let me see.
And then the other one I'm thinking about is Jacob Blake.
That was the guy who they just shot last week.
Right.
Or like a few days ago, right?
Right. When he's getting in his car, trying to, I guess, leave, or I don't know what he's trying to do.
Okay. He had already been fighting with him on the other side of the truck.
How do you know that, Glenn?
Because the witness.
Are you seeing? Are you have an extended version of this video? Because the only version that I've seen.
The only version you've seen. Have you heard of the witness testimony? What they said? Did you know he was? Let me put it this way. Did you know that he was actually?
What does that have to do with anything?
What do you mean? The guy said, "I have a knife," and they.
Who said he has a knife?
He did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. They found a knife in his floorboard of his vehicle when he went over and leaned into the car. They had already been fighting with him. Dude, look it up. Don't just watch a video and go, oh, that's all that happened.
No.
Look it up and investigate it.
No, but, okay, so I tell the police I got a knife, and then I go in my car and I'm trying to get the knife, and I got 3 kids in the back seat. Did that even sound rational?
Guess what?
Did that even sound like?
Let me ask you this. Does your average criminal make rational decisions? Okay, look.
Okay. All right.
He's fighting with him.
Right. You tell me at what point does he all right, he's grabbing the taser. Uh-huh. He grabs the taser. He flips one of the cops off of him. Yep. And at this point, they could have let him go. At this point, they could have let him go.
So by that point, you set a precedent.
Where? Okay, he's off of the camera now. So we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened once they're off the camera.
There's another angle of this.
We don't know what happened.
No,
we don't know what happened after
he
he wrestles them off.
Here you go.
We don't know what happened after he wrestles them off.
Watch him. He turns around to shoot. See him point the taser at him and discharge it. Now the DA. Now you laughing.
He's running, and he pulls his hand like this.
Donte.
He pulls his hands like this while he's running.
Bullshit.
Now he does. He's still running. He has his hand like this behind him.
Donte, seriously, dude.
Glenn. I think this is your white privilege talking, man.
Oh, you just said the wrong thing, my friend. That is the one.
This is your white privilege.
I tell you what, seriously, I would never do this to you, obviously, but when people start talking about white privilege, I'm just like, all right, I'm done. Because you knew how I grew up. You know everything about how I grew up. Everything, right?
Yeah.
And so when people start talking about white privilege, I'm like, look, man, we were dirt poor.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But with that one, he was actually just turning around and he just put his hand like this while he's still running forward. He never stopped and turned around. And was trying to shoot the police officers like this.
So in other words, to try to fire the taser back at the cops, he has to stop, turn around, and take this full position like this.
No, he doesn't.
Donte.
He doesn't. But let me ask you this: what is the percentages that I'm gonna hit you if I stop and I'm pointing like this, or if I'm running and I'm doing this? What are the percentages that I'm gonna hit you?
I don't know what the percentages are, but guess what?
Which one is higher then?
When you turn around and you take But Donte, the whole problem is you don't get to just turn around and fire a cop's taser
right.
at
But
him
did you see the video? I mean, did you see the full exchange, the full conversation?
Oh, the video with him?
Yeah, when they first got him out of the car, when they pulled him into the parking spot.
No.
Okay.
No, I did see a part. He's like, I had something. I don't know. My wife or my girlfriend ordered the drink. She called it this. I don't know. Yeah, I saw that.
And do you not think one of those, the other cop that was there, he was kind of like, okay, like, you're drunk, you know what I mean? We could take your keys and walk home. Like, he was ready to just let him go. The second cop that came up, he was the one that was a little aggressive. Like, hey, what do you know? What are you doing? What are you, like, he just kept on pushing them and questioning them.
Donte, let me put it this way. If I'm sitting in a drive-thru, right? If I'm sitting in a drive-thru and I'm drunk, and the cops come up, me as a white person with all my esteemed privilege, you know, that everyone claims that I have, all right. If I'm sitting in a drive-thru drunk, okay, I'm not gonna expect to get to go home that night if the cops come up on me. Period.
Okay.
Like, I'm not gonna say, okay, here's the video. He's running.
No. See, let's go back to the other video.
Guess what? No, people don't run like this and then hold. And he's not running just, and his arm didn't just come back. He held his arm up and taken several strides, doing it like this.
Okay.
So you can't say, oh, he was just running.
Okay.
You're making excuses for it.
No, it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's like, I believe that police officers, they should have a certain level of judgment, whether their life is in danger or they feel like they could de-escalate the situation.
You know, I don't have a problem with them trying to de-escalate things, but there is a certain point where de-escalation is not going to work. Okay, and I agree with you. Maybe they should try some new tactics about de-escalation, etc. But most of these shootings that all have in common is people fighting the cops. I mean, I don't fight the cops. Guess what? I got pulled over a couple weeks ago. I got a ticket. This racist black guy, this racist black cop gave me a ticket because I'm white. No, it's because I was doing 55 in a 45, okay? I mean, when it was all said and done, I even asked, hey, you want some hand sanitizer too? Because, you know, he's got to carry the, you know, sign the stuff and hand it to you and everything. He goes, no, I appreciate it, you know. if I do that, the screen doesn't work. It's a touch screen thing, right? So guess what? Now, if I got out and said, and gave him lip and started pushing him and trying to fight him, that's going to have a bad outcome. 99% of all these cases where someone gets shot, it's because they're fighting the police.
99?
Yeah. Well, I mean, these shootings that you're talking about, maybe not 99. There are some bad shootings. I've never said that there weren't, right?
Okay.
Okay. But my point is the vast majority of them are with people fighting the police. The ones that, remember, I think we talked about this before, like the one several years ago where the cop pulls the guy over. The guy just jumps out of his car and just takes off running, right? He just takes off running. He didn't even turn around and look at the cop. There was no threat. The cop, boom, 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 shoots him and kills him. The dude's running away, just gets out of his car and takes off running because he had warrants or something, right? And cop shoots him in the back. And then he tries to act like, oh, absolutely, that dude should go to jail. That's clear. That's plain clear cut. So I don't think that every shooting is justified, but I'll put it this way: a lot of them are justified, and a lot of these things are protested. Like in Detroit, I forget the guy's name, but in Detroit there was a guy. The cops were arresting this dude, okay, because he was a suspect in like a triple shooting, right? He's a suspect. He's sitting there. The story doesn't revolve around him though, right? The cops are sitting there, okay, arresting him. His buddy pulls up. His buddy walks up, pulls out a gun, like from me to the door here, and aims at the cop's head and shoots at the cop. It's a shitty shot, and he misses. The cops fire on him and kill him. Like he's already pulled a gun out and shot. Black Lives Matter protested that shooting.
Oh, did they?
They absolutely did. But you don't hear about this stuff. And another thing I'll tell you about this as well. Black Lives Matter, have you ever read their mission statement?
I have not.
I'll read you part of it because I saved it. I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
And this is kind of the wolf in sheep's clothing. Nobody has a problem with racial equality. I mean, nobody does. I mean, I don't know. Well, I'm sure some people do.
Yeah,
that are racist. That don't like
the All Lives Matter people. The All Lives Matter people. Yeah. All Lives Matter
I'm sure
people.
Some of them are, but I wouldn't say all of them are. Let me see.
So everybody who says All Lives Matter, you don't think they're all racist?
I don't think all of them are.
Why?
Just because I don't know.
That's
just like saying, why is it? Have you seen these guys going up and shouting people? Do you think that Black Lives Matter? And they're in your face. Like this one lady's sitting there like this right here, cowering, and it's always a bunch of these Antifa. It's these white people that, and that's another.
Antifa have tried to jack that. They have. They've tried to jack the whole movement.
Okay. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting.
And this is from
This is their
from the
mission
website.
Statement. This is from the Black Lives Matter website. This is not taking from any other page. This is from their website. This is what they post. This is part of it. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages, in quotation marks, okay, that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Now, do you know what that's alluding to?
No.
Okay. The founders of Black Lives Matter, two of them said, we are trained Marxists.
Who are the two? What are their names?
I don't know.
So how do you know they're trained marksmen?
Look it up. I don't know their names, but look it up.
So how do you know?
They said that's what they said. We are trained Marxist.
Okay.
Okay. So that whole thing of we want to disrupt the Western family unit, and it goes to that. I think it's an African proverb, like it takes a village, right? Mm-hmm. That's basically alluding to a communist idea that it takes a village to raise a child, right? Okay. So what they're saying is that society, that society should be able to help, give your child their values. Nobody should give your child values except the mother and the father of that child, okay? Because the community and the government, that's what Marxism does. That's what communism is they control the message, and they, like Bernie Sanders, he goes to Russia in the 80s, and he's like, this is during the Cold War, right? He's like, oh, in Russia, the architecture it's beautiful. The buildings are incredible. And they have literacy programs as well. Okay. Guess why? Guess why they have literacy programs? Because they control what you read. They indoctrinate you. Communists have killed 100 million of their own people between Russia and China and other, and other communist countries. They're killing their own people.
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives Matter, the founders of this, if you read the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there's a lot of stuff in there that's not about racial equality, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like a little backdoor slide in here type thing,
Mm-hmm.
okay? This is not, they are not just about racial equality, I'm telling you.
What
Read
are they about?
them. Huh?
What are they about?
I just read it to you.
I know. What else?
Disrupt the family. I mean, it's all just read the whole thing. I mean, I've got clips of it, but it's not appropriate. It would probably offend people.
Why?
It just would. I mean, just go read it. Go read their whole thing.
So let me ask you this: what's the difference between what you read from the BLM and what the Pledge of Allegiance, the original version? What's the difference between what you read and the Pledge of Allegiance of America? You're
pledging your allegiance to the country. What I just read was about someone that's talking about destroying the family.
The Pledge of Allegiance, right, is the original version where it talks about the slaves.
You're talking about the national anthem, I believe.
Is it the national anthem?
Yeah, you're not talking about.
Okay, the national anthem. Sorry. Yeah. The original national anthem. What's the difference between that and what that is?
What do you mean? There's a lot of difference. This is talking about destroying the family unit as you know it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's talking about. The national anthem talks about nor slave nor free man or something. It refers to slaves, but it doesn't say anything like destroy the family unit in there at all. I don't get where you're coming from. I don't get your question.
What basically what I'm trying to say is everything that's in the Constitution, in the national anthem, like all of those, like I don't think like people have or either understand that everything that has been written in the Constitution was not including of black people. Everything, even the national anthem, was not including black people. Because when they talk about slaves, like people kind of take black people from that, right? Mm-hmm. They just say slaves. Mm-hmm. But who were the slaves? They were black people, right?
Most of them were.
So when we say
there were Chinese slaves and Irish slaves as well.
Here in America?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Back in the 1800s.
Did they get reparations?
Nope.
What did they get? Because I know, some of the Chinese people they do get paid. They do get reparations. They do get paid.
How?
From the government.
The government sends them a check?
Yes.
The government sends Asian people a check for being slaves?
No, not for being slaves.
For what?
For the bombing of Hiroshima.
No. They don't get paid for getting the bombing of Hiroshima.
Okay, I got to do some fact checking. I
I know what you're talking about, but I'm not going to help you.
Okay, but you know they get paid though. They get a check from the United States government.
I don't know if they get a check, but I know that you're talking about the Japanese internment camps.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So here, let me help you argue against me, Donte.
No, I don't. I'm just saying, but you know what I'm talking about.
No,
you know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And the slaves from black people, they don't get any reparations. They don't get any checks. They don't get any kind of assistance from the government from what they did. They haven't repaid that debt back to the black community. They haven't done any of that.
We had that conversation about reparations a long time ago.
We did. We
said, let's give them $10 billion. And it's like, you want like I said, you want that $200
no,
from paid out.
I think it was Bob Johnson, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He did a study where it was like the amount of money that it will take. I think it was like $300 trillion that they would have to pay back in order for that 40 acres a mule that was promised back then. It would be equivalent to like $300 trillion.
You know, I'll tell you this, Donte. There's not ever going to be reparations. If anyone ever
let me ask you this. Okay, I'm gonna let you finish.
If there were ever reparations, okay, it would be for what happened before the Civil Rights Act, like earlier in the century, like the people who actually lived through it, lived through the discrimination things. Like I said,
so those are the only people who should get it. You're saying? The people who lived through it?
Well, I mean, nobody else is still alive.
You don't think they had kids and grandkids and?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So you don't think it should be passed down to?
Let me ask you this, Donte. This happened a couple hundred years ago, right?
Right.
The whole slavery thing.
Right.
I'm just telling you, there's not. I won't say there will never be reparations because
hold on, time out.
You get the right people in
because
there.
Let's put it in context. Slavery didn't happen a couple of hundred years ago.
No, it was like 150 years ago, 170 is when it was abolished, right?
When it was abolished, right?
Mm-hmm.
But slavery was still going on in the South.
And I think in Texas Juneteenth is a celebration because they basically just didn't tell people.
Juneteenth of what? 1918? No.
When they told them? No,
yeah,
it was back in the 1800s. It was still in the 1800s. After they abolished.
1865?
Yeah, after they. Hey, no help here.
No. We. My dates and all is gonna be off.
No, I got you. No,
but
I mean, I have to give it to you though, Donte. You actually have spent your free time pretty well. You're much more prepared than you were previously. I got to give you that.
Here's the thing, man, because I feel like when it comes to black people and what they should receive, because I feel like everybody gets either some kind of financial thing, or everybody gets to just remember the trauma that they've suffered within their culture, whether it's from Jewish people, whether it's from just 9/11, whether it's just from Chinese people. Everybody gets to have their trauma, and everybody has to remember, and everybody can't say anything about that culture or anything about that. But when it comes to black people, it's like, man, come on, that was 100 years ago, man. Like, let's get over that. But it's like nobody ever just be like, you know what? Damn, that was a fucked up time. They should do something for you guys. They should. I don't know if it's reparations, but some kind of way they should.
What should they do? What would you suggest other than reparations?
Other than reparations,
one of the BLM leaders of one of the chapters of Black Lives Matter said that looting and rioting, the looting was reparations. So there you go. You got it.
Nah,
that's what she said.
That's out of anger. People say that out of anger.
I'm just saying what she said.
Yeah, but that's out of anger, and I don't think she said exactly that. I think
she did.
No, she didn't, because I heard her what she said. She was like, she doesn't give a damn about a Target that they're looting, and people are bad because they're looting Targets. I don't think she said that was reparations. I don't think that's what she said. She said she doesn't give a damn if people are looting Targets when black people have shed blood
to
on
me,
these fucking.
That's reparations. Why would she say that's reparations then if she wasn't talking about the looting in that same breath?
Yeah, that's out of anger and frustration.
No, I agree. Well, I'll tell you this, Donte. I think that one of the things, and we've talked about this before, if you really want to help the black community, which, let me put it this way: people that don't know me, that are watching this podcast, they don't know me. They don't know, my background or anything. You do. We talked about it. And just to put this in context, if me and you were walking down the street and some redneck, started yelling racial slurs at you, what do you think I would do?
You would probably jump in. You would probably intervene some kind of way.
Come on, Ronky. No, I'm just kidding. No, I wouldn't say that. Come on, redneck.
Yeah.
I would. So when I'm saying these things, it's not coming from a point of like, oh no, it's black people. It's not that.
I know.
You know that. The people who are watching don't. The point is, I think the biggest thing that's hurt the black community, okay, and we talked about this before, is back when LBJ, was it the New Deal, where they basically said, hey, they're giving out social, welfare programs, so, assistance and things like that. Mm-hmm. From that time, children that were born to single mothers in the black community, right? It was at the homes that had a mother and father present is at 74%, and they thought that was atrocious back at the time, because they said, this is terrible. You have 26% of black children are born to a mother that has no father in the home. Mm-hmm. Now it's reversed. It's like 24% actually have a father in the home, something of that nature. 70-something percent of children are born without a father in the home. Now, I grew up with a father in the home. A lot of these kids don't have any authority figure to look up to. They're not taught to respect authority. They're not taught to be a man, a lot of them aren't, right? Mm-hmm. you take what Denzel Washington said. He said, he said it starts in the home. You know, if you don't have a father in the home, the judge becomes your father, the streets become your mother. He said, once they get into the system, in other words, once they get into the criminal justice system, once they start offending, it's too late. He said they're not locking up 7-year-olds. Okay, I think the biggest problem that the country has right now, in the black community, and you know, granted, I can't have an opinion because I'm a white dude in today's society when it comes to this stuff. I mean, that's just me being sarcastic.
Yeah.
But if a lot of these kids, you know, they don't like. I'll give you an example. There's a movie called Uncle Tom that I was watching this morning, right? And it's by a conservative. It's about conservative black people in the United States, right? How they're called Uncle Toms. They're called all these horrific names, you know, House, you know, the rest of it that we're not allowed to say anymore. Okay, so you've all these terrible things they say to them, right? Okay, the point is they made fun of Ben Carson, like just tore him apart. Like Trevor Noah is making fun of him. This dude went from public housing to a brain surgeon, the first brain surgeon ever to separate conjoined twins that shared part of the same brain. Okay, and they're ripping this guy. Why? Because he's conservative.
No, it's not. It's not because he's conservative. It's not because he's conservative.
Why?
Because
what could he possibly have done then?
I feel like with Ben Carson and people like Ben Carson is because they do things to get themselves ahead, right? Without any consideration of the community that he came from. That's why I feel like they rip him, because anybody who I feel like even sides with Trump or even could even be loyal to Trump or even be on that side, like you really don't value, if you came from that community, you really don't value that community. You probably have some kind of what is the word I'm looking for?
I know the word.
What?
I'm not going to help
you. Okay. You probably have some resentment toward that community that you came from. So you
self-loathing is what you're looking at.
Yeah. You do anything to distance yourself from that community that you came from because you're ashamed of it. Because you hate that you were born in that situation. So you will do anything to get out of that self or remove yourself from that. And that's why people don't like him. And I want to correct you on something. When the welfare program, that system was brought up with the incentive that the black man is not in the house. That's an incentive program. The only way you can get on this program is the man can't be in the house.
Yeah, I know,
right. And so what does that do? That incentivizes the women to get rid of the guy because financially I'm better off here.
Yeah, no, I agree.
When that program is like, here's what I would compare that program to, right? I went through a child support situation. They was like, Donte, we're going to take your child support down to 0 until you guys figure out the custody situation, right? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I don't have to pay right now,
and
right?
Then they're going to stick it to you later.
Yes. And that's exactly what that program did to the black community, where they presented it as a way of help or something to benefit you, but really they're really
enslaved them.
They really trying to, on the back end, really fuck you.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely. And I agree. So, and here's the point to that is, you know, to me, it's not about race at all. It's about principles.
About principles.
Right.
So on that point, how could you ride with a president who is not on principle, who is not doing things on principle? He's doing things for greed and pride and his own ego. How could you ride with somebody like
Donte, that? Do you know who put in that welfare system? Who started that?
I don't. No.
I believe it was LBJ, and he was a Democrat.
Okay.
Okay. So the same people you're voting for.
I'm not on a party. I don't give a fuck about a party. That's what I'm saying. I'm not loyal to a party. I'm not loyal to the Democratic Party at all.
Let me ask you this.
I'm just saying somebody who is right and somebody who is at least here's my thing. I would at least give Trump the benefit of the doubt if he was doing something to actually bring the world together or doing something to even bring people together. I would ride with him with that. but he's doing nothing to even bring people together. He won't even speak about injustices that happen in the world that everybody agree on is fucked up. Even you and I, even though we seemingly on the different sides of the party, the political party, there's some things that we can agree on that you say, yeah, Donte, that is fucked up.
Are there?
Yeah.
Let me put it this way.
But he won't even say anything.
Let me put it this way, Donte. You say, what has he done?
Not even what has he done. He's not doing anything to bring the world to a calm as a leader, as somebody like your boss. And you guys, if you had a boss that when you come to him with an issue and the whole team is fighting and he's doing nothing to even stop it, or he's not even doing nothing to intervene to make sure that, hey, as a team, we're all on this together to make you guys all feel, you would be like, man, fuck him. Like, why am I showing loyalty to him, right?
Did Obama do anything like that?
I do feel like he did.
What did he do?
I feel like,
other than say the cops acted stupidly when he was talking about one case before the facts even came out.
Here's a prime example, right? When the cops did something bad, he spoke on it, right? When Kanye did that dumb shit with Taylor Swift, he spoke out against Kanye West. Yes, he called him an idiot or something.
He knew it was going to happen. He knew that.
But here's my thing though: if you're on principle, right? You're on principle. No matter who the person is, if they do something dumb or fucked up or it's not right, it's not on principle, you should at least say something as the leader of the country. As the leader of the country, you should actually step in, no matter race, political party, no matter what. If somebody does something, you should be able to speak up. You should be able to say something. You should say something, because that brings calm to both sides, right? I know you can't please everybody. You can't please everybody. I get that. But on both sides, you're now the president of the United States. You're not the president of the Republican Party.
Donte, let me ask you this. Do you know what the black unemployment rate was up until this virus came in? I mean, I'm not asking a number, but I'll tell you, it was the lowest in history in the African American community.
Okay, so you're saying Trump did that in 3 years?
He put that into place. Now, you can sit there and do all this stuff like, listen, no, I know what you're going to. Oh, Obama did all that stuff beforehand, and it just started happening.
How long do you think it takes for you to bring up the economy? How long, just in general, how long do you think it takes to bring up the economy? You think it happens in 2 years, 3 years?
Let me put it this way. When you put in practices, when you are a pro-business president, right? You know, everybody's like, hey, we need a president that knows how to run a business, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people have said that. He got elected the next day, the stock market went up by 300 points, okay? But just hear me out.
Okay.
So everything that's good that's happened under Trump, everybody's like, oh, that was just Obama doing that. Did you know that, we were in a recession, right? Under Obama. I mean, and he was like, he inherited a recession.
We were not.
No, that's what I said. Okay. He inherited a recession.
Okay.
So I give you that much. It was the slowest recovery from a recession in history. It didn't happen because of his policies. It happened in spite of his policies. Okay? Here's another thing. You're gonna elect this senile old man for president that's gonna, like go into full dementia in about 3 months after he gets sworn in. Well, what? When he's swearing in, he's not even gonna be able to do that. They don't even want him to debate Trump. Nancy Pelosi says we shouldn't even dignify it, or legitimize his presidency, right?
He's pregnant, dude.
He may be. He's got a big belly. But we shouldn't even legitimize his presidency because they don't want Joe Biden to actually have to get up and speak in front of people and debate Trump. Because you've seen his senile moments. Like, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all... Well, you know the thing.
I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that.
You should.
I don't.
But let me ask you, go back to the original point. The unemployment rate was at a historic low. The Second Chance Act, where it gave a lot of people, like a lot of African Americans, the ability to, to help them, getting out of prison, things like that. The lady that he helped
Second
get out of prison.
Chance Act?
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but it was to help it mainly helped the African American community that had been incarcerated. Okay. He's given more money to historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs, than
Trump
any
has?
other. Yeah. You didn't hear about that, right?
No.
The reason being is because they don't want you to hear that. So if he's a racist, he's a shitty racist.
Hold on, let me fact check that.
Okay, go to Snopes for sure, because they're not biased at all.
Who is that?
For real?
I don't.
You know who Snopes? Snopes is like it's a fact checking website, but it's left wing.
No, I don't want to.
Another thing is, how do you feel about Kamala Harris? Yeah, I called her Kamala on purpose because they said it's racist if you mispronounce her name. By the way.
So I don't know enough about Kamala Harris. I don't really know.
All right.
I don't know enough about her. All I know is she was.
She'll be president pretty soon. If
she'll be
if
attorney general in California. That's really all I know. But here's my thing. I feel like
at people. She laughed on a radio show about smoking weed and listening to Biggie and Tupac when she was in college, which she might have been lying about smoking weed. No, just wait. No, I don't have a problem with people smoking weed at all. Just let me finish my sentence before you start getting all incredulous. Like, what?
Yeah, okay.
No, she's talking about, I used to listen to Biggie and Tupac in college. When she was in college, they hadn't even made an album, okay? So she wasn't listening to them, number one. So she's lying, just trying to identify, kind of like when Hillary said on a radio station, as an African-American radio station they were interviewing, and they asked
hot
her,
sauce in her bag.
I got hot sauce in my bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah.
So, no, but they asked her about, did you ever smoke, you ever smoke when well, oh, yeah, of course I did. Yeah, I did. And then she goes on, she's what, the state attorney, right? In California, whatever her title was. And she put away 1,500 people for marijuana charges that are in jail to this day. Mm-hmm. And she's laughing about smoking weed.
Mm-hmm. So you brought up that to say what? Like,
no, I'm just
because what she did in her 20s in college,
and
right?
Then she turns around and incarcerates people after she laughed about
that
smoking
was the law.
Recently?
That was the laws in California, right? She was the attorney general, right?
As one of your previous guests said, I don't really want to talk about it in terms of legality because laws can change, Donte. So we just shouldn't enforce any laws at all.
No. I'm saying because what I did when I'm 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna hold that against me when I actually get a job?
No.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
my point is
those are the laws, and she's doing her job and following laws.
No, I agree. But my point is, she's giggling and laughing about smoking weed. Oh yeah, I smoke weed, and then she turns around and puts she put a bunch of people in jail for that. And another thing is this: you remember what she said about Joe Biden?
I don't know.
You want me to tell you?
I think all that is politics. She's trying to win. The politics is all dirty.
You want me to tell you why? You want me to tell you why that she got picked?
Why?
Everybody knew.
Why?
That because she is a female
mm-hmm.
and she is a person of color, black or whatever, Latino,
and
whatever.
She's tough on crime, and she's.
Is she?
Yeah, you just said she put all these people in jail.
Yeah,
right.
No,
she's tough on crime.
Yeah,
but she's a black female.
Yeah, she's a black female. No, it has nothing to do with being tough on crime. Because everybody knew before he picked her, everybody knew. If you listen to any right wing, any conservative show or radio station, it's like, oh, he's going to pick a black woman
mm-hmm.
as his running mate. He just is, and he did, and absolutely he did. It wasn't even I wonder if he will. They're like, they just didn't know which one it was going to be. All I'm saying is, I don't trust her. Okay, I don't trust her. But I don't trust him either.
You trust Trump?
I trust him more than I trust them. Trump. I've always said that Trump was an ass. Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I like watching him give the finger to people. Because sometimes some people just need to be told what's up. I mean, that's true. Regardless of what side you're on, I do like that part of him sometimes. But sometimes I'm like, dude, why don't you just? I mean, he doesn't act presidential. I'll give you that. I've said it. He doesn't act presidential.
So why would you want him to still be your president?
Because I like his policies more than his attitude.
What is his policies? I don't even know what his policies is, because
go back and see podcast with Tap In with Glen, number one.
Anytime I even hear him speaking, anytime anybody asks him about a question about something that he's done, all he does is deflect, and he bashes anybody who is in opposition of him. He is like,
Donte,
and is that that's like
constantly under attack by the left.
Why do you think that is?
Okay.
And even Obama was constantly attacked.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Obama, hold on, time out. Obama was under attack probably more than any president ever.
Until now.
Before Trump, Obama was under attack. The exact same. You never heard him once say anything bad or anything where he was like, where I'm deflecting and he's putting the responsibility on anybody else. And he was under attack more than any other president before him. So I mean, as a presidential figure, no, you're gonna get attacked by either side, no matter what.
Right. But let me ask you this:
I see even
at the Democratic National Committee, did the people leaving the DNC, the DNC, they have it, right before the election. Did you see mobs attacking and harassing?
It was done virtually. It was done virtually.
Everyone,
yes.
I don't know. I didn't. Like I said, I don't watch it. But let me ask you this:
the Republican Party is the only one who actually did it at
okay. Well, let me explain to you.
And that's what I don't understand. Like, we have this coronavirus that is running rampant, and the economy is all fucked up. People are in the streets.
Yeah, and so they're bitching about that.
But
unless you're protesting, because at a protest and a riot and looting, you can't catch coronavirus when you got like 5,000 people marching down the street elbow to elbow.
You can.
Right?
You can.
Then where's the criticism for that? You don't see CNN and NBC bitching about, oh man, these people shouldn't be protesting. They could spread corona. Oh, Donald Trump had this convention and you could get corona there. How irresponsible. But yet they're all in for people marching down the street.
You know the difference?
What's the difference?
Those people on the streets are civilians, citizens. The president of the United States is the president of the free world. He's the most powerful.
No difference whatsoever. We're talking about
he's
spreading
the leader.
A disease.
He's the leader of the free world and probably the most powerful man in the world. Yeah. And he's acting irresponsible. He's the leader. So a CEO at the company could do the exact same thing as the employees. Would you put the CEO of a company? Would you expect the CEO of the company to do the exact same thing as the employees, and they should be able to fraternize and laugh and joke? And the CEO, would you expect the CEOs to be able to do the same thing, or would you expect more from the CEO?
Donte, what I'm talking about is the hypocrisy.
And I'm asking you, what do you expect? Do you expect the CEO of a company to act the same way as the employees of the company?
No, I would expect them to be. I expect them to be able to set themselves apart.
Exactly. So the same. You can't say, "Oh, the people who are protesting should not be in the streets and they should be."
What I'm saying,
and the president of the United States, he's having a convention out in the public where people are available to spread the coronavirus.
No, my point.
They shouldn't be acting the same, is what I'm saying.
No, you can call it whatever you want to, okay? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff up in there about the virus, how it spreads, how deadly it is, etc. Only 6% of the people who have actually died from coronavirus died like the people who caught it, only 6% have died just from corona. Most of them were elderly, had 2 or 3 other severe health issues, okay? My point is the hypocrisy of the left. What they do is they moan and bitch when Trump has a rally, but it's okay for people to be out in the streets, elbow to elbow, screaming and yelling and marching down the street. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for the protesters. They can protest, they can do whatever they want. I don't agree with a lot of what they're protesting. Some of it I do, some of it I don't, okay? But when you're marching down the street and you're out yelling and screaming and you can protest and nobody on the left, nobody says anything about it. Nobody, not one media outlet except for the conservatives, point out the hypocrisy of like, oh, it's okay to go out and protest, but you can't have a convention, okay? I can tell you why little Joe is so fragile. He doesn't want anybody around him that has anything at all, I promise you. Mm-hmm. Because I'm telling you, that dude is not all there. He's physically unfit. Did you ever see him when they asked him, have you taken a test to check your mental faculties and things? He goes, I'll be more than happy to take anything any test to check my physical and mental fitness. Literally, he screwed that one up. I'm telling you, the guy's halfway brain dead. I promise you. You're just voting. I mean, what it really comes down with, I thought to myself before I came in here the other day, I was thinking, I'm going to go into Donte's podcast. And I said to myself, I'm like, man, you know, no matter what I say or no matter what you say, I'm not going to convince any of your viewers of anything, of any of my views. All I'm telling you is that from the get-go, from all of this stuff, like the whole Black Lives Matter stuff, you know, I could actually probably, you know, agree with a lot of it if they didn't protest completely 100% justified shooting, like the dude in Detroit that aimed at a cop's head and shot.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
big. And let me ask you this. There's also a double standard in the country as well. And, you know, and like I said, if I see a cop, like you said, I got one that's, it's morbid. You can tell that I'm a sick person because there's a video, if you look it up. It's a chick in Oklahoma. She's on drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's got out of a rehab facility and she's relapsed. The cops are after her, okay? And she's running down the side of the street in the ditch. And she turns around and she's shooting at the cops. You can hear the gunshots. You can see her pointing at the cops, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the cop just rolls up and runs over her. And the look on her face, right, as she goes under the hood, is like, oh, and just ran her over and killed her, right? When I see that kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, you had that one. Like Major Payne said, you had that one coming to you, you know?
Why though?
Huh? Why?
Yeah.
Why did she have it come to her? Because the cops were following her, were chasing her. She was on foot. She turns around with a gun and she's shooting at the police. And they ran her over as she's aiming and shooting at the police. So my whole point with this is, if a black or white person deserves to get shot, I don't have a problem with it. Like the one guy that jumped out and he's running down the street and the cop gets out and shoots him, I don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, there's not that I don't have a problem with them actually going after the cop and him arresting it, because that's completely unjustified.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I worded that wrong.
Yeah, I was
That'd be like, damn, Glenn, I don't think we're gonna have you on anymore, right? No, what I'm saying is that was absolutely unjustified, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is a lot of this stuff, there's a double standard in society, and I'll tell you why. Do you know who Canon Hinnant is?
No.
Okay, of course you don't, and I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't fit the victim narrative that the left wants to portray. He's a 5-year-old little white kid that was riding his bicycle, and I think what the issue was is he rode his bicycle in his neighbor's yard. And there's a black dude, okay? The dude came out, shot the little kid in the head, executed him. Just boom, because he was riding in his yard right in front of his 2 little sisters. Took CNN a week to even mention it. Why?
I don't know.
I'll tell you why. Because it wasn't a white dude killing a black kid.
Yeah, that dude should go to jail.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But the point is what I'm telling you is just the double standard is the narrative that the media wants to portray is that the police are evil, you know, that Republicans are racist, and you know that's their thing. Because I'll tell you this, it's just give me a little leeway here because it's going to take a minute. The left and the media are in bed together, absolutely. CNN, the mainstream media, you go to Yahoo and look up an article. Out of 20 articles about Trump, 19 and a half of them are negative, okay? I mean, literally, every one of them are negative.
Because he's just doing a poor job, though.
Wait.
He's doing a poor job.
Wait. Let me finish.
He's doing a poor job.
Let me finish.
I mean, if you're the president of the free world, the most powerful man,
that's not my point.
And you're doing a bad job, you're going to get criticized.
That's not my point. I said give me a little leeway here because it's going to take a little while to get where I'm going. Okay. All right. The whole point of this is that the left and the Democrats both have the same agenda. In the media and the Democrats both have the same agenda. You watch the mainstream news. They're ripping this guy every chance they get. Their hardball questions for Joe Biden and Obama are like, what's this journey been like, Joe? What's this journey been like, Obama, Barack? I mean, isn't it just momentous? They're basically like, can we spoon? You know, they're literally. I mean, they're just like, I love you so much. I mean, there's no hardball questions or anything, right? So the whole point is the left and the media and the Democrats are both. They have the same agenda, right? They do. Absolutely, they do.
I'm just going to take your word for it. I don't know.
Okay, when you watch the news, their talking points are the same talking points as Joe Biden and all the other Democrats, okay? All right? So my point is with all of this stuff going on, you've got all of these things that are skewed, okay? The left wants to have a class of people who see themselves as a victim, to support them. Okay, so what they do is they're like, look at these evil Republicans over here. They're all racist. They're all a bunch of evil people. And they're just terrible and everything all this stuff, right? And what they do is it's community organizing. It's what Barack Obama, the only thing he did before he got into politics was a community organizer. You know what a community organizer is? Mm-hmm. He's a rabble rouser, okay? He basically goes and tells someone, hey, you know what? It's not fair that your life sucks. It's not fair that this happens. It's not fair that this. It's not fair that that. You need me to fight for you against these people who are oppressing you. The Democrats want a victim class, okay? They do. That's part of why they love the welfare system so much. Because like we said, the welfare system has enslaved a lot of African Americans, has caught them up into a perpetual cycle of living with government assistance.
But not just African Americans.
No, I know. White people too.
Okay.
But when you talk about a percentage of the demographic, okay, there's more white people on welfare than there are black people. That's true. There's also a lot more white people in the country. The percentage of white people as a demographic compared to the percentage of black people as a demographic, the African American community has a much higher percentage of their demographic on public assistance.
You know why?
Because they want them to depend on the government for their sustenance so they can control that vote.
No.
That's exactly why.
That's not why.
Then why is it?
Because black people have been systematically pushed out of the wealth gap. I mean, not the wealth gap. They've been systematically pushed out of the economy, so you can't flourish. You can't even buy a house. You can't buy a house. I'm saying when it comes to redlining, what they did with redlining, like wealth is transferable, right? So if I don't have any money to buy a house, what am I passing down to my kids? What is my grandkids passing down? So of course, a lot more black people will be on the welfare system if we're being pushed out of being able to be a part of this economy.
Donte, that might be a small fraction of it, but I can tell you.
I'm willing to bet you 90% of the people who are on welfare is because of some kind of systematic thing that was put in place where they couldn't enjoy the fruits of what this whole United States was built off of, capitalism.
So
I guarantee you 90% of people on welfare, that's the reason why.
So you think that the people who are, and like I said, I don't have a problem with welfare at all. It's just when it's being abused. When people are, because we had this discussion before. You knew someone that was the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, the welfare system has basically taken the black family and has destroyed it. Okay? Like we said, that is the biggest problem facing the black community right now. It's not the cops. It's not systematic racism.
I think it is, though. Because here's I'm going to paint an example for you. And this is it made me think about it, and I was like, you know what, that's right. When it comes to entertainment, right? Majority of the entertainment is consumed with black people that came from the hood, came from, you know what I mean, right? Yeah. When they start getting money and they start being able to take care of this.
One of them was a hooker that used to drug men. Yeah, I got you.
What about Melania?
No, I'm talking about your girl Cardi B. You know who I'm.
But listen, majority of it is black people, right? Once they got some money and was able to move out of that environment, they're not still doing the same crimes or still doing the same thing that they were doing when they were in the hood, right? Because they're able to participate in the economics of the United States, right? So now they're not doing the same exact thing that they were doing back then.
No, and
right?
I was poor when I was a kid as well, but I didn't go rob a liquor store.
Right. So once you're able, that's when hope is yanked out of you. Your only thing is, fuck it. I need to go fucking. I need to do something to eat. I need to do something. I need something quick. I need to do something. My only means of being able to eat is fucking a quick little rob and grab and steal, whatever.
Smash and grab.
Yeah, smash and grab. Yeah.
See,
there you go.
I'm gonna take your card away.
But listen, so if I'm not able to be involved in the economics of the United States, and on every fucking turn that I make, it's, oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, no, you're not approved for this. Oh, you're not approved for that. how am I able to transfer the wealth? How am I able to thrive in this whole economy if I'm not being able to by the systems that are put in place for people to thrive?
Donte, like I said, if you have a nuclear family, you have a mother and a father that teach you good values and teach you the value of an education, and you grow up, you get a job, and you start a business, and you become prosperous, that's the biggest hurdle right now. I'm telling you, it's not because it's not just this big.
How do you get start a business without being able to have the capital to start a business?
There's a lot of people that start business. There are people that start mobile car washes.
I'm asking you, how do you do it though?
I don't know. I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't have a business.
You have to start with the capital from somewhere.
Donte,
I'm just saying you have to.
You don't listen. You don't start. Most businesses don't go, okay, I'm going to take this $50,000 I've got and start a business. It doesn't happen that way. You got people who mow lawns, get a couple of people, hey, help me mow lawns, and then they start a business, and they got a lawn service, and then they get a landscaping service going. It's not something where you're like, hey man, I just need this. I'm telling you, the biggest problem facing the African American community is not systematic racism. You've been told by the media.
I've been told. I'm speaking from firsthand experience.
Well,
not. I don't, because what people say on TV, it may not be my experience, right? It may not be my experience.
I'll tell you,
but I'm speaking from my experience. With every turn that you make, you're being told. You're being told that, oh yeah, we're gonna go a different direction, or no, you're not approved for this, or no, you're not this, or no, you're not that, or you can't do this, or you can't do that.
Guess what?
And then on top of that, you have the police.
Too.
You have the police telling you, hey, you need to act right. You need to do this. You need to do that. You did like every single every single turn is like,
Donte,
I'm telling you.
Like I said, most of those cases where the shooting starts, it's not, the cop doesn't just walk up and go, hey, you're under arrest, and then just shoot the dude. The dude starts fighting them, okay? I'm telling you, in the vast majority of these cases, that's what happens.
And I know the police are put in those areas because they know they can get people on simple crimes and they can be able to go to jail.
Simple crimes like
Simple
what?
crimes like a joint, not walking in the street. Not walking on the curb. You know what I mean?
He didn't.
I'm just saying, like,
they weren't
simple
going to arrest
things.
him. He just said, hey, get out of the street.
Simple things
so
like,
you don't
I'm
get
just
run
saying,
over.
The police are put in those areas to stop crime, but they know they can get people on easy things. You can give tickets like crazy. People who don't have the money to get their car registered, who doesn't have money to get insurance, who have a raggedy car, they can't get it fixed, there's a tail light out. You can get people all day long on little simple things, and that shit adds up. Where now you don't have a driver's license, so now you can't get a bank account. Now you don't have ID, so you can't do certain things. You can't travel. You can't. Now you're boxed out.
So
I'm just telling you.
Let me ask you
this.
It's
systematically done this way.
Let me ask you this. In your eyes, is there anything that the community is at fault of that they could do better, that could improve the situation?
Yes.
Like what? Because I never hear this. All I ever hear is how people are systematically victimized. And like I said, remember how I told you it's a victim class? Mm-hmm. They create a class of victims that need them. They do. They create a victim class because guess what? When you can compel someone to say, "Hey, these people are bad. You need us to fight for you against them." That's how you get put in power. That's what Obama did. He was a community organizer.
Okay, so one of the things I feel like what black people could do is in group economics, where everybody say, "Hey, this is a common goal that we're trying to do. We put our little tools and fuse together, and let's do this. And once we get this up and running, we're gonna branch off and do the second person, and we do it on our own. We don't even depend on the fucking government."
It's called a partnership in a business.
No. It's whatever they want to do, whether it's business or not. But that's what I feel. That's what I feel like black people can do in the community, where they could take ownership on their own, and they don't even depend on the bank. They don't depend on the government for anything. They just do shit on their own.
Yeah, that's great.
And then you know what happens when black people do that?
The man comes and stomps them out.
I mean, the Black Panther Party is a prime example.
What do you mean? How so?
Black Panther Party, the lunch program that's in schools are now. Mm-hmm. That was started by the Black Panther Party, where they put that program together. They were feeding their own communities. The bombing in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the bombing in Philadelphia Tulsa, Oklahoma. You don't know about the black community in Tulsa, where it was like a whole community where they were black doctors, they were black lawyers, there was the whole community of black people who had their own business, and they came and the government came and bombed that area. You don't know about that?
When was this?
Shit.
I don't know. I hang out in those white privilege.
Yeah, don't worry. This is why we have Google.
Okay.
Yep.
No, that'd be interesting. I've never heard of that.
Black Wall Street, right?
That's right. I have heard of it. I just didn't know what it was.
When was that bombing? And we got to get out of here soon. May 31st, 1921.
1921?
Yep. And then there was a bombing. I just found out a couple years ago there was a bombing in Philadelphia where they wiped out a whole community, a black community, where people were. It was their own little thing, and it was like the police came through there, threw bombs through the windows, through their window. Matter of fact, they actually did a lot of looting and rioting back then in the black community. People who said, you know what, we're gonna do this on our own. We don't need anybody else. They came and did that.
Who did?
In Philadelphia, the police.
The police looted and rioted?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, that's okay because it's white cops doing it, man.
Okay. Okay.
No,
Glen,
dude,
I love
seriously.
you, man.
No, you don't.
I do, man.
You just bring me out here and try to make me look bad.
No. Because I want to get your side. I want to get both sides. I just want to understand and see, because a lot of political shows I don't watch them.
I don't either.
I don't watch them. So
like I said, I haven't really been paying attention.
But I
to the
really
news, so
just
you're much more informed than I am lately.
But I just really want to understand, like, even with all the bad that Trump is doing, or the perception of the bad that he's doing, like, how could anybody still ride with him on anything that he's doing? On anything. I mean, even when it's just plain and simple, where it's just all we're saying is, hey, you are now the president of the United States. Like, you're not just for the Republican Party. We want you to at least speak out when it is something that is done horrific. Just say, hey, man, this is not right.
So you're,
but
you would like him more if he actually stood up and spoke out against certain things, said, hey, this is wrong.
Listen, I feel like I don't feel like the president, any president, Barack, Clinton, Bush, I don't think any of them, like, really, when it comes down to it, I don't feel like they directly affect my life, right? I don't feel like they really directly affect my life. But now that I'm learning a little bit more about politics, it's the people that locally that could really affect my life. And so those people who I feel like they're in a line with Trump, then those are the people who I'm really looking at now. Those are really people I'm looking at now. But
you gotta watch us. Yeah.
No, not even you. You're not even fucking. I'm talking about the people that are in politics, that are in those local politics. Those are the people who I'm really watching now, to be able to say, like, yo, if they're in the line with Trump, and Trump is motivating his people to act a certain way or do a certain thing, those are the people who I want to get out of office. Those are the people who I want to get voted out, because those are the people who are going to directly affect me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We didn't even get a chance to talk about Antifa very much either.
Yeah, we didn't.
They're hijacking the BLM movement.
They are. I mean, and a lot of the Antifa people are the ones who are doing all the rioting.
Nah, they are, yeah.
Those are a lot of people that are doing the rioting.
I tell you what, all I have to say is, you know me, Donte. Somebody stops me and breaks my windows out in my car and starts trying to drag me out, it's not going to end well.
As it should. As it should.
You know me.
Yeah, as it should. So, yeah, man. Yo, man, I appreciate you coming on, like, seriously. You know what I mean? Because I do want to get both sides, or just be understand, like, because I feel like you're a decent guy. You know what I'm saying?
So sweet of you.
Yeah, I feel like you're a decent guy, but I feel like your loyalty to the Republican Party, that's the part I don't understand.
I'm not loyal to him, and I feel the same way about you. I mean, you're an okay guy as well.
Yeah,
you're
I'm
a
okay.
decent guy. Yeah. But the issue is, Donte, is we both look at it from two different perspectives, really. You look at it from the perspective that the system is set up to really, I mean, in a simplistic view of it, is that the system is set up for the African American for the African American community to fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that the odds are stacked against you.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, they did start out. You did start out in a hindrance, because the Civil Rights Act was just in 1964, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest problem that the African American community faces is from within. Like I said, the whole thing with the family unit being torn apart, that's devastating. I mean, you look at the statistics as far as people that get into the criminal justice system on the wrong end of it. The majority of those come from single parent homes where there's no father in the house. I really think that's, I mean, like I said, even Denzel Washington said that. I mean, that's my whole
Denzel's not
point
a politician, though.
I know he's not a politician,
So-
but you listen to other celebrities when they have an opinion. When the Rhodes Scholar LeBron James says something, everybody listens to him, right?
Who?
I'm just saying. And the guy's not that
I mean,
bright.
they have influence, yes.
Yeah, they do. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole point is you're coming at it from the point of view that, the odds are stacked against the black community. Okay, and I've always told you that they started out at a disadvantage a long time
So when
ago.
did it change then?
Huh?
If we started
been
out
changing.
as, I'm saying, you saying we started out as a disadvantage. When has it changed?
It's
At what
changed.
point did it change?
It's changed throughout history over time. Since they abolished slavery, it's gotten better and better. Did you know that? Listen, the first people,
It's gotten
the
better
first,
and better.
the first senators and the first people in I think it's Senator or House of Representatives were Republicans, and they were black Republicans.
Okay.
I mean, everybody paints the conservatives, the Republicans, as evil. And like I said, I don't really consider myself really Republican. I'm just more of a conservative.
Okay.
I mean, kind of lean a little bit libertarian. I mean, I'm not so libertarian that I think, hey, a lot of libertarians are like, hey, yeah, all drugs should be legal. I don't think heroin should be legal. Weed, weed is one thing. I really think weed is probably less destructive than alcohol, to be honest with you. I mean, the only reason that, we did have prohibition where alcohol was illegal for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, guess what? Everybody's banning smoking. You can't smoke in a restaurant. The smoking is banned. Smoking is evil. The big tobacco companies are evil, but hey, we need to legalize weed. Guess what? I don't have a problem with legalizing weed because you don't have some dude smoking a blunt and then going and mowing down a family in their car because they're drunk, right?
Right.
I don't have a problem with that. But my whole point is when we did this, you're coming from it from the point of view that it's stacked against you. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming at it from the point of view as look, you can't idolize. Instead of looking at people like successful black businessmen and things like that, a lot of the kids are looking at people who aren't good role models. If you don't, who your best role model in your home is generally?
Your parents.
Yeah, your father, your parents, and it's always good to have both of them. I mean, what I would want to happen for the black community, and you know me, I have a lot of. The only reason I didn't wear my Caucasian shirt was because I'm going to a party with mainly African Americans there, and I'm wearing that tomorrow.
Okay.
So, and the Caucasian shirt, just to clarify, is because you know how everybody's upset. Oh, we got to change the name of the Cleveland Indians. We got to change the name of the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
It was actually a black guy. I forget who it was. Actually wore that shirt to try to see how see how white people
Bomani,
would
I
feel.
think it is on.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that shirt. I think it's funny. My buddy, a black guy, he wants me to get him a shirt that says Caucasians too.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, I think that the best thing for the African American community is to not be dependent and to actually. I don't know what it's going to take, but I think the best thing for them to happen was to have their family unit back together, not to what it was. And I don't think that Black Lives Matter is, I don't think that they are a good influence on that, because I just read from their mission statement, from their webpage. No, not something that's changed up.
I mean, you read about 2-3 lines.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to read it in totality.
Read a lot of it.
Yeah, we had to read it.
I'll tell you what else was on it.
Yeah,
when we get off.
yeah,
But the whole point is, just in closing, is you're coming at it from that aspect. I'm coming at it from the aspect of, look, if you really want to make a change, you got to make sure that your young men grow up to be men. okay, and they don't get into the system. I think that's going to help people more than anything. I mean, to be honest with you, okay. The other issue is, if, like I said, I just think that the politicians cause a lot of this. I really do. I don't think that this is gonna. I don't think that the politicians help at all on either side. I mean, because they fuel it either way. But like I said, if that were to happen, if that were to happen, the family unit were to come together and they actually and it was repaired and it was restored to what it should be, I think that's going to help the African American community much more than these policies and these what you consider a systematic disadvantage. Because I'm telling you, man, a lot of people came to this country. The Irish were in bad shape too. They were slaves as well.
Let me ask you this then, and this is my last question, then we got to go. But if you think that would help more than the policies, why is there so much pushback in changing the policies?
Like what policies would you be referring to?
Education. The main one. Education. Education reform.
Right. Okay. Let me
prison
answer
reform.
That. Okay.
All these different policies.
The Second Chance Act. Trump's actually done stuff to help with people who were in prison. Like I said, it helped the African American community. And as far as education reform, the Republicans want school vouchers where people can choose. If you are in an African American community, right? These evil racist Republicans, if you're an African American and you are in a bad inner city school, okay, the Republicans are pushing to get school vouchers where you can actually choose to go to a different, better school. But the Democrats fight that. Do you know why?
No, I don't.
Because the teachers' unions are very much liberal and support them. And if they say, okay, and if the teachers realize that they're like, okay, if our school performs poorly, then the kids will leave, and I'm not going to have a job, and it makes me look bad, that's why. If you look that up, the Republicans push for school vouchers for kids, for parents to be able to choose to send their kids to another school. Any black family, if you live in an inner city, and your kid's in a school that's violent, bad education, the teachers are terrible, the kids can't pass tests and stuff, why wouldn't you want your kid to be able to go somewhere else?
East Side High.
What is that from the movie?
Lean on Me, yeah.
Okay. Exactly. So why? Well, you're not going to get. What the guy's name?
Mr. Clark.
Yeah, Mr. Clark. You smoke crack? You smoke crack, don't you? Don't you want to jump? Don't you want to die? No. So my point is why, as far as education reform, they fight that. I'm telling you, the Democrats want to keep the African Americans dependent on them because they rely on them. The Hodge twins actually said that African Americans are the only demographic in the country that vote 90% for one party. That's not...
That's crazy. I agree with that. That is crazy.
So, and I can tell you another thing is African Americans, the support from African American men, Trump's actually got a lot more support from them than other Republican presidents, believe it or not. So he's very polarizing. So you either hate his or you like him a lot. Okay?
Yeah.
Even in the African American community, the Democrat, and I'll tell you another thing, these riots are hurting Joe Biden's chances of getting elected. Even Don Lemon said that it's showing up in the polls, these riots are hurting our chances. Even they said that on the CNN. So I'm not quoting Sean Hannity by any chance, or Fox News, or anybody like that.
Okay.
So another thing, you need to go watch that movie called Uncle Tom.
I will. Yo, man, thank you for coming on, Glenn.
No problem.
Yeah,
Let's
appreciate
go have a
it.
beer, Donte.
Yeah, let's go, man. Yo, man, thank y'all for tapping in. This has been the Tap In Podcast. Holla.